The key question of the case remains, did Amber Heard defame Johnny Depp? Was she lying when she claimed she was abused by the Hollywood superstar? One new piece of evidence played in court today shines a new light on that. I want you to listen as Depp is heard in a recording yelling at his ex-wife.
What you are and who you are and how you f me over and make me feel sick of myself. There's still a lot left in the day. Maybe you should dye your hair. I see you rude.
We have our panel of experts ready to weigh in on analyzing this testimony moment by moment. Joining us tonight, HLN legal analyst Joey Jackson, CNN legal analyst Lonnie Combs, and psychotherapist Robi Ludwig. A slew of damning, vulgar texts from Johnny Depp to one of his friends about Amber Heard were read in court today, including these.
On January 17th, 2013, Mr. Depp, you texted the following: "For the idiot cow," 3 exclamation points. Next text: "Will do. I'll smack the ugly around before I let her in. Don't worry." And apologies again to the court and the jury for this language. And then you close by saying, "Did that worthless hooker arrive?" Did I read that right?
You did, sir.
In this text, Mr. Depp, you text Mr. Bettany, "Let's burn Amber," 3 exclamation points, right? You see that?
I do see that.
And at this time, June 11, 2013, Amber is your girlfriend or perhaps even your fiance at this point, correct?
Girlfriend,
Yep.
for sure.
And you didn't stop when you said, "Let's burn Amber." Because the next text down, you can move down and blow up the next text, please, Michelle. You say, "Let's drown her before we burn her," 3 exclamation points. Did I read that right?
Yes, it's referring
And
to the text prior to.
You didn't
from Mr.
stop when
Bettany.
you said, "Let's drown her before we burn her." After that, you made another comment, and I'd like to apologize to the court and to the jury for some of the language that I'm going to have to use today, but unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of documents with language like this. After you said, "Let's drown her before we burn her," Mr. Depp, you
Yes.
said, "I will her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she is dead." That's what you said that you would do after you burned her and after you drowned her.
All right, let us bring in now the professional psychotherapist Robi Ludwig. In this area, we're seeing these texts, and they're not to Amber, they're to a guy friend, actually Paul Bettany, an actor. Well, as that expert in the brain and the mind, what do you say to this?
Well, we certainly see that Johnny is demonizing Amber, that he feels extraordinarily rageful towards her, and he's using language that is very scary, right? He's talking about drowning her, he's referring to her as a witch. So we see how he is experiencing at this point his girlfriend or fiance. And in the video, we're also seeing there's a lack of control. He's very physically aggressive, and we see that he's drinking. And so it's a very interesting situation when we hear Johnny Depp talking about himself as a victim, but yet we see him speaking in this way via text, and we see him acting out of control in the morning and drinking via the video. So we're seeing somebody who experiences himself as a victim, but yet is acting in a very victimizing way.
Robi, in your experience with your patients and dealing with drugs and alcohol addictions, do you find that when someone is under the influence to such an extreme that they cannot form the intent? As he wrote those texts, could he not actually intend what he's writing?
Well, sure. I mean, it could feel cathartic to him to be able to position his girlfriend in this particular way. He was feeling angry. He clearly wants to influence his friend. It doesn't mean that he necessarily intended to harm her in reality. When someone is drinking or drugging, they're disinhibited. And there are some people who get increasingly angry when they're drinking or doing drugs. So that is one possibility. But either way, it's very scary because people who are drinking and drunk or high, they can do things that they're not aware of. And that's really problematic.
I want to go to Robi Ludwig. Johnny Depp is the plaintiff. He wants to bring this. He has wanted to bring this. When you look at this, what would he knows the evidence. He's got to know what's coming in. What would motivate him to want to go forward when the whole premise in opening statements is to clear his name?
I think it kills Johnny Depp that people would think of him as an abuser, because he really feels like the victim and believes, and I'm sure a lawyer said to him, this is not wise to do. But we know with a lot of Hollywood actors, they don't like the word no, and they proceed with their own ideas of what should happen. And so Johnny probably thought, with his acting skills and his wonderful ability to describe his background, that he could show that he was being triggered, that actually he was the one who was being abused, and that it was a back and forth that was happening mutually. And if he could walk away sending that message, perhaps he felt that would be a win for him.
You know, Robi, let me ask you this. I watched him through the day, his facial expressions, his demeanor as the day wore on. And near the end of the day, that last 30 minutes, he was a different person. He looked to me dejected, depressed, and not well. He stood up at the end. He bid them all farewell, walked out the door. Over this weekend, Robi, could he say, I'm not going to take this anymore. I want this all dismissed. Could that happen?
Anything is possible, right? Because if he had a fantasy of how this trial would go, and then he's experiencing the reality, which is not going in his favor, he could decide to just end it, if that's legally plausible. I don't know the legalities of that. But I think Johnny is depressed, and he doesn't see himself accurately, and he may not see the situations accurately. It is true statistically, though, kids who are raised with intimate partner violence, seeing that in their family, they do have a certain attachment style, and they may be inclined to repeat that in their relationships. So that could be true.
All right, we will see. And still to come, the emotional roller coaster that Johnny Depp rode during his days with Amber Heard, from anger to apology. That angle next. We want to show you a picture very quickly that was entered into evidence by the defense today. It shows Johnny Depp, and there he is, and the way the defense termed it, he passed out, and there's ice cream that Amber had given him. Johnny Depp says, I was sleeping because they were 15-hour days on the set with pirates, but the point is, Amber took that picture. You could tell he was upset about it on the stand, and if someone cared about someone, is that something that they would take? That's a question. Johnny Depp would say no. I want to go very quickly around. Everybody give a thought, your final thought of the evening. Joey Jackson.
This was a train wreck. It was most unfortunate. It was very difficult to watch. I think that he lost big today, and it's just an embarrassment, quite frankly. We shouldn't be in court listening to this case. He should not have brought it in the first instance, Gene.
Lonnie.
I think the evidence today confirmed what their counselor said on the stand, which was this was a mutually abusive relationship. Mutual abuse does not win this case for Johnny. Whether she abused him or not is not going to win the defamation. Now, you would have thought that after the UK trial, he would have stopped there because he lost big time there. But Amber Heard's attorneys tried to get this case dismissed many times. They were not able to, so he felt like he had the legal grounds. But once this goes to a jury, I don't think they're going to find in his favor. Either way, I think he loses big time on his reputation.
All right, Robi Ludwig, one question. When Amber Heard takes the stand, will it impact this jury, yes or no?
I think it will. I think her observations and her experience, and she's very good at sharing her experience, the jury will hear it and feel it. And we will see that Johnny is not obsessed with the truth necessarily. He's obsessed with his truth. And at the end of the day, that's not going to work with this jury.
Thank you so much to all of our panelists. Our coverage of this trial does not stop here.